Start with, can you slow things down a little bit? And the Grimania is an English pronunciation of whatever the Celtic words are. But it means heart of Munster, Munster being a county in the south of Ireland, kind of in the middle of Ireland. But Munster didn't used to be just a county. It was a third of Ireland, and it was a kingdom during the Middle Ages. It was a respected seat of learning in Europe. So I think this is a bit of a lament, really, for the way things used to be. Italian, excuse me, Italian Baroque music was very popular in the British Isles in the second half of the 17th century. And it really influenced a lot of British folk tunes and that sort of thing. And it was a big influence on Caroline as well. A lot of the old harpers didn't like his music because they said it was too modern sounding. They liked the old Irish airs that sort of wandered around. It didn't really have much structure at all. Whereas the Italian Baroque music is very structured, and it introduced a lot of new aspects to music, to just in terms of chord progressions, for one thing. Chord progressions weren't really a part of Irish music. So the next one we're going to play is called Caroline's Concerto. He was playing. He learned to play, or he learned to play, he composed it. There was a Italian Baroque musician by the name of Gimignani who was touring around Europe, and he went over to the British Isles and went to England and Scotland and Ireland. Really liked Ireland and stuck around in Dublin for 3 years. So he and Caroline got together, and of course they jammed, right? You know, and it's like Clapton going to North America and playing with Duane Allman or B.B. King. Gimignani went to Europe and went to Dublin and played with Caroline. So they were having a bit of a contest about who could play the most difficult piece, and the other guy could play it back by memory, which of course Caroline would win because he was blind, and all that part of his brain was used up for memorizing music. Anyways, after Gimignani finally played Verdi's violin concerto, and Caroline played it back on the harp for him, and then and he said, yeah, you know, well, words to this effect, I really like this Italian Baroque music. Here's a piece I've been working on, so we'll play it for you. This is Caroline's Concerto.
What's the name of that instrument, please?
Now, I was just asked, what is this? This is a cithern. Now, the cithern was originally a 16th century Renaissance instrument, and it was popular through the 16th, 17th centuries, and it kind of faded away. Although they did keep them in barber shops in the 18th century in England because it was a barber and surgeon, you know, and they would bleed you and pull teeth and fix broken bones, so it wasn't a very nice place to be. So I guess that's why they kept the cithern and accordions. Somebody knew how to play it. They could sing some songs and kind of cheer people up. And maybe that's where barbershop quartet music came from, huh? Who knows? I understand that barbershop quartet originated with young black men in New York in the 19th century, but, you know, they were the melting pot down there, so. Anyways, this is a cithern, but this is a modern-day cithern. Yeah, the first modern-day citherns were made in the late 70s. It sort of, you know, it's evolved from the mandolin and the octave mandolin and the Celtic bouzouki and various other instruments. And somebody stuck an extra pair of strings on it and called it a cithern. It's basically what happened. You can't buy them in the store. I had this one made for me by a luthier up on Hornby Island, by the name of Lawrence Nyberg, N-Y-B-E-R-G, so you can Google Nyberg Instruments. He's a pretty talented guy. So, but I'm going to hang it up right now and get my mandolin out instead. So I'll just be in there. I'm going to play two more tunes by Caroline and then move on to some Scott's tunes. So this next one is Caroline's Welcome. It's kind of wistful. It's not a really cheerful welcome. And then after that, we're going to play Loftus Jones, which is, I think, my favorite Caroline tune. Loftus Jones was a little boy when he wrote this, and I can easily imagine a little boy running around in the garden and chasing butterflies, and romping with the dog, and lying on the grass and looking at dogs. So Caroline's Welcome, followed by Loftus Jones. I'm going to play some Scots tunes now. I'm going to start with a slow air written by Neil Gow. And Neil Gow in the 18th century was a rock star in Scotland. He was the most prominent fiddle player at that time. And this one has a lovely name. It's called Neil Gow's Lament on the Death of his Second Wife. But you know, Neil Gow, of course, in those days, people died young, and his wife died. First wife died when she was 42, and he remarried, and his second wife was his soulmate, and they lived into their 70s. And she died, and he wrote this tune, and then he died. So it's probably his best known tune, Neil Gow's Lament on the Death of his Second Wife.